The hegemony's psychological warfare tactics were legendary. Before executing prisoners, they'd parade their victims through the arena of judgment, introducing various horrors to break their spirit before the crowd. Today's victim, Dr. Elena Vasquez, captured while treating refugees on the border colonies. Behold, Executor Thrax announced to the cheering crowd, the human who dared defy hegemony law by harboring fugitives. Let's see how brave she is when faced with true power. Elena stood in the arena's center, her medical coat still stained with blood from the patients she'd been treating when captured. Her hands were bound, but her chin remained high. Release the Shadow Maw, Thrax commanded. The crowd roared approval. Even a Shadow Maw cub was lethal. 6 eyes that could see in multiple dimensions, venom that liquefied internal organs, claws that could rend steel. This one was particularly vicious, taken from its mother too young, raised in isolation, fed only when it showed aggression. The cub entered through the beast gate, snarling and spitting, its black fur bristling with rage. At 8 months old, it was the size of an earth tiger, all muscle and fury. The crowd expected Elena to scream, to run, to beg. Elena sat down. The Shadow Maw cub stopped mid-snarl, confused. It had been trained on moving targets, frightened prey. This human was neither moving nor frightened. She was tired? Sad? Hey, little one, Elena said softly, her voice somehow carrying across the arena. Rough day for both of us, huh? The cub's 6 eyes focused on her, seeing something the crowd couldn't. The micro-expressions of someone who'd been caring for others through exhaustion. The body language of a healer, not a threat. It could smell the scents on her, blood, not her own, medicine. And underneath it all, attack. Thrax roared, activating the shock collar around the cub's neck. The cub shrieked in pain and rage, electricity coursing through its small body. The crowd cheered, expecting it to channel that agony into violence. Instead, the Shadow Maw cub ran to Elena, not to attack, to seek comfort. It climbed in her bound arms, all 6 eyes leaking tears, its body shaking from the shock. Elena managed to shift despite her restraints, cradling the cub against her chest. Baby, I know, she whispered, her bound hand stroking its fur. I know it hurts. You're okay. You're safe now. The arena fell silent. 50,000 hegemony citizens watched in stunned confusion as their torture device became a scared child seeking comfort. Thrax activated the collar again, higher voltage. The cub convulsed but pressed closer to Elena, burying its face in her medical coat. She bent over it, shielding it with her body, taking some of the electrical discharge herself. Stop hurting him. Elena's voice cracked across the arena. Not pleading, commanding. The voice of every mother, every protector, every healer who'd seen enough suffering. It's a weapon. Thrax screamed. A killer. He's a baby. Elena shot back. A baby you've tortured into compliance. Look at him. The crowd did look. They saw the cub's ribs showing through patchy fur, malnourishment. Saw the scars from previous training. Saw it clinging to a bound human woman like she was salvation itself. Kill them both, someone in the crowd shouted. Others took up the cry. But something strange happened. A few voices dissented. Then more. Parents in the crowd, perhaps, recognizing something universal in the scene. The discord grew. Elena began humming, an old earth lullaby her grandmother had sung. The cub's trembling slowed. Its breathing steadied. In the middle of an execution arena, surrounded by beings that wanted them dead, the Shadow Maw cub relaxed completely, trusting her absolutely. Its 6 eyes closed. It purred, a sound no one knew Shadow Maws could make. Commander Krell of the Hegemony Guard stood from his viewing box. Release the human. Commander? Thrax sputtered. Any being that can turn our weapons into that, Krell gestured at the sleeping cub, is too dangerous to kill. Or too valuable. Either way, release her. Elena's bonds were cut. She stood carefully, the Shadow Maw cub still in her arms, still refusing to leave. You want him back? She asked Thrax. The executor reached out. The cub's eyes snapped open, all 6 glowing with threat. A growl rumbled from its chest. Not the trained aggression of before, but the protective warning of a child defending its mother. "I thought not," Elena said, walking toward the exit. "We'll be leaving now." No one stopped her. How could they? Their psychological weapon had chosen its target and decided to stay. The footage would spread across the galaxy. A bound human woman turning an instrument of terror into a sleeping baby with nothing but compassion. The hegemony's torture programs would face unprecedented criticism, not from military defeat, but from the image of a purring shadow maw cub refusing to leave the arms of the woman it was meant to intimidate. Some victories were won with weapons. Others were won with lullabies.